Brace yourselves, ladies, because the storm that is brewing is going to drown them all. Let us look at the current state of the board, because the timing of these rumors is absolutely no coincidence. Right now, Valentine is currently making the ultimate sacrifice. He is risking his own freedom, preparing to turn himself in to the authorities just to save Jocelyn from a terrible fate. He is saying his tearful, agonizing goodbyes to Charlotte and Carly, stepping away from the empire he fought so ruthlessly to control. With Valentine out of the picture, locked away or on the run indefinitely from relentless agents, a massive power vacuum is opening up on the island. And if you ask me, nature abhors a vacuum, but this legacy family absolutely thrives on it. The whispers are growing louder by the day, guys. The rumors are swirling that a pardon is coming down from the governor, wiping the slate clean for none other than Nicholas. Imagine the scene, the heavy wooden doors of the penitentiary creaking open, and Nicholas stepping out of the shadows, a free man once again. But do not be fooled into thinking that sitting in a tiny cell has softened him. If anything, being locked away gives a man time to brood, to plot, and to obsess over what he believes is rightfully his. Nicholas returning to claim his spot as the undisputed head of the family is the very first domino in a terrifying chain reaction. He is not coming back to make peace with his past. He is coming back to conquer his future. And the very first thing on his list? The ultimate prize, his youngest son, Ace. This is where the domino effect truly begins to accelerate, spinning wildly out of control. Nicholas will stop at nothing to get Ace back under his roof. We have seen this vicious cycle play out decade after decade, generation after generation. The fathers in this bloodline view their sons not just as children to be loved, but as possessions to be hoarded, as heirs to a dark and twisted kingdom. Nicholas will demand full custody. He will use his newfound freedom, his immense wealth, and every single legal loophole available to rip that little boy away from the stability he has known. He will justify it as a father's love, but we all know it is about control. And who will be the first devastating casualty of this ruthless pursuit? Laura, poor Laura. My heart absolutely aches for her. She has spent her entire life trying to save her children from the darkness that infects their DNA. She has been the steadfast protector, the moral compass of the town, desperately trying to shield her grandchildren from the sins of the past. When Nicholas marches in and demands Ace, it will shatter Laura's heart into a million irreparable pieces. She will be forced to choose between the son she birthed and the innocent grandson she is trying to protect. Nicholas's actions will force Laura into a suffocating corner, potentially isolating her from her own family just when she needs them the most. Do not forget, Laura is already in grave danger, dealing with the terrifying traps set by an escaped fugitive. Nicholas's selfish crusade for Ace will distract Laura, leaving her vulnerable to the enemies circling her. But wait, ladies, because you absolutely cannot talk about Ace without invoking the ghost of his mother. If you think Nicholas fighting for custody is going to be a straightforward legal battle in a courtroom, you are forgetting the cardinal rule of our beloved drama. No body, no death. Esme went over the parapet into those freezing, dark, treacherous waters, and we were all supposed to believe she was gone for good. We were supposed to breathe a sigh of relief. But let us be real with each other. When has a plunge into the harbor ever permanently ended anyone in this town? The high-profile fight for Ace will act as a beacon, a siren song calling the ultimate wildcard back to the canvas. I firmly believe that Esme is alive. And if you ask me, she has been watching from the shadows this entire time, biding her time, healing her wounds, and waiting for the absolute perfect moment to strike. Esme returning from the dead is not just a cheap shock value moment, it is a masterclass in psychological warfare. Think about the manipulative schemes she could weave upon her return. She could claim amnesia all over again, playing the innocent victim, or she could come back full of fiery vengeance, demanding her son with a fury we have never seen before. If Nicholas tries to take Ace, Esme will emerge from the watery depths to destroy him. Her return will be the second massive domino to fall, crashing directly into the fragile peace the town has desperately tried to build. And here is where the theory takes a turn that will leave you completely breathless. If Esme survived that icy, fatal plunge, then by the absolute laws of daytime physics, so did Spencer. They went into the water together. Their bodies fell through the air at the exact same time. Their fates are forever intertwined in the most tragic, poetic way possible. The rumors of a massive summer storyline heavily point to Spencer finally coming home. But I am begging you, do not expect a joyous, tear-filled reunion where everything magically goes back to normal. That is not how this vicious cycle works. This family does not do happy endings. They do Greek tragedies. If Spencer comes back, we have to ask ourselves, what condition will he be in? Has he been wandering around some distant European city with amnesia, completely unaware of his royal heritage and the people who mourn him? Or, and this is the deeply unsettling thought that keeps me up at night, what if he has been held captive this entire time? What if Esme, having miraculously survived the fall, dragged a broken and unconscious Spencer to the rocky shore and has been keeping him hidden away? Imagine an unholy alliance between Esme and some mysterious, wealthy benefactor who hates the family just as much as she does. The psychological torture and manipulation Spencer would have endured in that scenario is unimaginable. When he finally returns, he will not be the same arrogant but fiercely lovable prince we remember. He will be damaged, traumatized, and potentially very, very dangerous. The domino effect of Spencer's return will completely and utterly obliterate Trina's world. Right now, Trina is trying so incredibly hard to heal her shattered heart. She is throwing herself entirely into her art, meticulously preparing for her big premiere, and trying to navigate her complicated feelings while working alongside Ava at the gallery. She has grieved for Spencer. She has cried an ocean of tears, spent countless sleepless nights staring at the ceiling, and is finally taking hesitant, painful steps toward a future without him. Imagine the sheer, heart-stopping shock when she looks up one day and sees him standing in front of her again. The breath will literally leave her body, but the profound tragedy is the Spencer she gets back might not be the Spencer she lost. If Spencer returns with absolutely no memory of Trina, or worse, if he returns brainwashed, twisted, and entirely loyal to Esme, it will destroy Trina emotionally. She will be dragged right back into the toxic, suffocating orbit of this legacy family. Her promising career, her fragile mental health, and her relationships with her own fiercely protective family will suffer immensely as she desperately tries to save the man she loves from the darkness consuming him. Nicholas's selfish, ego-driven desire to reclaim his power and his youngest son will have inadvertently unleashed a chain of events that ruins Trina's hard-won peace. She will be forced to fight a war for Spencer's soul, and she might lose herself in the process. And we absolutely cannot ignore the massive, explosive domino that is Ava. Guys, Ava's history with this specific family is a tangled, bloody web of seduction, betrayal, and attempted murder. She slept with Nicholas, she was viciously targeted by Esme, and she shares a deeply complicated, almost maternal bond with Trina. Right now, Ava's already stressed to her absolute limit, dealing with a hidden agenda from a cunning blackmailer who is threatening to expose her deepest, darkest secrets to the world. When Nicholas returns, Ava's paranoia will skyrocket off the charts. Ava knows better than anyone what Nicholas is capable of when he feels cornered or challenged. If Nicholas learns about the secrets Ava is currently hiding, he will use them to crush her without a second thought. And if Esme comes back from the dead, Ava will go into full, terrifying survival mode. We all know that a cornered Ava is the most dangerous creature on Earth. She might make a preemptive strike, forming her own unholy alliance with someone completely unexpected. She might even reach out to Sonny for protection, dragging the mob directly into this messy, catastrophic family war. Sonny is currently distracted by his own bold strategies and the chaos of an escaped fugitive, but if Ava brings the war to his doorstep, the entire town will be caught in the crossfire. The sheer scale of this potential summer storyline is staggering when you look at all the moving pieces. Look at how perfectly the stars are aligning for a total disaster. Valentine is sacrificing himself, leaving the throne empty and unguarded. Laura is distracted by a fugitive setting traps for her loved ones. The police force is in absolute shambles, with internal arguments and bitter blame shifting over how dangerous criminals keep slipping through their fingers. The authorities are entirely too busy fighting each other to notice that a much older, much deeper darkness is returning to the island. The town is completely unprotected, leaving the door wide open for Nicholas, Esme, and Spencer to turn the city upside down. Now, I promised you a massive twist, so let us flip this entire theory on its head. We have been assuming this whole time that Nicholas is the mastermind, that Esme is the primary manipulator, and that Spencer is the tragic, helpless victim. But what if we are looking at this all wrong? What if the real hidden agenda belongs to Spencer himself? Think about it, guys. Spencer has always felt deeply betrayed by his father. He has always harbored a deep, simmering, explosive rage toward Nicholas for choosing Esme over him, for abandoning him, and for constantly putting his own selfish desires above his son's well-being. What if Spencer did not lose his memory? What if he has been hiding by choice, watching his father rot in prison, waiting for the absolute perfect moment to strike? What if Spencer is the one who orchestrated his own disappearance, using Esme as a pawn in a massive, years long manipulative scheme to finally destroy Nicholas and take the Empire for himself? Imagine the absolute terror if Spencer returns not as a victim, but as a cold, calculating villain who has finally embraced the darkest, most ruthless parts of his bloodline. If Spencer has decided that the only way to beat his father is to become worse than him, it changes the entire landscape of the show. The dominoes are lined up perfectly, ladies. Nicholas returning to claim Ace is the initial push that starts the unstoppable collapse. It brings Esme creeping out of hiding. It drags a fundamentally changed Spencer back from the dead. It breaks Laura's pure heart. It shatters Trina's entire world. And it pushes Ava to the absolute brink of murder. The gloomy island fortress is about to become a literal war zone, and not everyone is going to make it out alive. The Legacy family is back in full force, but the cost of their grand reunion will be paid in blood, tears, and shattered lives by the rest of the town. We are standing on the edge of a terrifying precipice, looking down into a summer filled with devastating secrets, vicious lies, and betrayals that will alter the course of history forever. The board is set, the pieces are moving into position, and the storm clouds are gathering over the harbor. But the most terrifying question remains unanswered, hanging in the air like a thick, suffocating fog that refuses to lift. When the dust finally settles, the smoke clears, and the very last domino falls. Which member of this cursed bloodline will actually be the one holding the knife?